3, 2, 1. What's up, everyone? Welcome to the 127th episode of the Pokemon Podcast. My name is SBJ, and with me today I have Will.
Oh, I was going to say crickets. Where's Travis?
No,
Travis. It's Travis's birthday, and you know what I heard?
What did you hear?
I heard he is kicking off this birthday with a case of MGD, a pound of weed, and 2 Caesars, one on each knee. This kid's doing it right for his 21st birthday.
What are you talking about?
Didn't you hear that?
No, I did not. Oh, I got something in my eye. No, I didn't.
Are you crying because Travis is having an awesome 21st birthday and can't be here with us tonight?
I mean, we didn't even ask him if he wanted to be here. We're like, let's just do this solo, just you and I.
And you know what's funny? I can see that he's on Skype right now.
He is on Skype, yeah. I was talking to him earlier today. I don't remember about what, but anyways, welcome to It's Super Effective. I'm your host, SBJ. I already said that, and I already introduced Will, who's been on many of episodes.
Couple, yep.
A couple. We are going to do not really a mini episode because we might end up rambling for a while, but the main focus of this episode is Pokémon Origins, or in the US they call it Pokémon Origins, where we will be talking about all 4 episodes that are no longer in Pokemon TV app or on Pokemon.com.
Taken down, not even up there for a full month.
Not even. We'll get to that in a bit and complain in that regards. But like always, if we're going to start off with the news, and if you are a new listener, we normally do introductions. You just heard that. We then head over to news where we talk about anything and everything Pokemon news related. We usually cut to a break, which we will do in this episode, and then we'll come back for our featured topic, and then normally after that we do like a Pokemon of the week, but we're going to skip that this week because we're already we are already recording pretty late. So and you guys will be getting an episode on Sunday, so this is just kind of filler because we missed last week. Because I am a lousy host.
Yeah, that's so true. And there will be no Pokemon X and Y spoiler-free episode.
That is true. Spoiler-free, since we won't be talking about it at all. Not at all. And there will be an episode recorded on Sunday. It will be actually recorded by Travis. He will be hosting the episode. I will not. I will be attending Irene's college graduation.
Yay! Congratulations, Irene.
That only happens once a year unless your job doesn't work out, and then you have to go back to college, and then you have a second graduation. Right? That's what people do.
You can have as many as you want.
That's right. Life lessons, kids. You can go to college as long as you want.
No, you can just keep graduating over and over. Just get more and more degrees in debt. Because if you stay in school, you don't have to pay back your federal student loans. So the more like degrees you get, you'll never have to pay back those loans.
Really? Is that how it works?
Yeah, I
used
used to be a financial aid officer. Yep.
What if you take all the classes? I guess
they
you
will
can
always make more classes.
Yeah, I guess you can just retake English 101 over and over.
No, but because seriously, they're always coming out with stupid classes like archetypes of human existence in an animist society and their reflections upon the generation of new Pokemon in Pokemon X and Y. And some professor gets paid like $40,000 a year to teach that class. Like, and it's what, in one semester, 20 weeks, not even 12 weeks, 12 classes, $40,000 to yak about Pokemon. You know how much I get paid to yak about Pokemon? Zero.
Pokemon Berry Farming 101.
I could teach a full semester course about Pokemon berries from Gen 2 when they were first introduced, all the way through X and Y.
We could start like an online course. I don't even know what they're called. Like Linda, is that an online course? Kind of.
I could do iTunes U.
Yeah, there we go.
Keep it simple.
But then you're not getting paid for it because iTunes U is free.
Linda.
Yeah, let's go back to that.
Spelled with a Y.
We're way off topic. We're way off topic.
As usual.
But if you do want to pay for something, you can pay for the new Fire Red and Leaf Green music, which has debuted in iTunes today, December 10th, when we are recording this. Just came out this morning. For those of you that don't know, Pokemon Company plans on releasing all the soundtracks to the Pokemon collection. They started with Pokemon X and Y Super Music Collection that came out last month, I believe. Was it? Yeah, November.
Yeah.
And today they released the Fire Red and Leaf Green, kind of a weird choice. Well, not really a weird choice because it's Kanto. They're going back to Kanto, so
yeah,
not that weird. So Fire Red and Leaf Green originally launched in 2004, and this is the track from that. I believe there are 99 tracks in this album. It is a $11.99. It's $2 more expensive than what the X and Y Music Collection debuted at, but they probably realized how much money they were making. So when you tack on $2 more per millions of people downloading, it's just easy money. It's going right back to the college argument.
I might say that this one costs more because the X and Y recordings were already done with like orchestra, and for Fire Red and Leaf Green, they had to actually record an orchestra playing the music and reorchestrate. So it does cost a little bit more. You know, they need to recoup a little bit more money. Does that make logic?
That's fair.
Sense?
That's a fair argument.
Okay.
Speaking of the music collection, X and Y, this is not too off topic, but X and Y did end up in the top 10 of all the iTunes albums for the day it debuted. It was beating even Miley Cyrus at one point.
Wow.
I think it made it as high as like number 7 most downloaded.
Did it come in like a wrecking ball?
It did. It did. Nothing like that. Oh gosh. So the Pokemon, like I said, has said that they can expect more in 2014. We still need the Heart Gold Soul Silver soundtrack, the Ruby and Sapphire, Diamond and Pearl, Pokemon Black and White, and then the Pokemon Black and White 2 soundtracks. So we have 5 more soundtracks to go to have all the music in said game.
I'm kind of excited, and I will be buying each and every one.
As will I. Will I be listening to them? Probably not as much as Kenny, but they'll get a couple plays.
Well, there's value because, like, you know, I went to a race on Sunday, and then after the race, I played, you know, successful battle music just to, you know, make myself feel better.
That is clever. Like, you could have like the rival battle when you're running, and then
something like that.
It's intense, like camping. The other thing that happened, actually last week, wasn't this week, but 2 new Nintendo 2DS bundles came out, including both Pokemon X and Pokemon Y pre-installed. They did a little color inverse, so if you get the red 2DS, you get Pokemon X, which is the blue X, and then if you get the blue Nintendo 2DS, you get Pokemon Y, which is a red Y. So a little color inverse there. The 2DSs don't look any different. It's just that the game is pre-installed and they are exclusive to Target. Or not, I'm sorry, not Target. Look at me slaughtering news. They're exclusive to Toys R Us.
Oh, wow.
Oh, no, wait. I'm sorry. They are exclusive to Target and Toys R Us. See, I'm not
No, that sounds about typical.
Yeah, so the red 2DS with X is available at Target, and the blue with Y is available at Toys R Us, and they are $150. So that is, I think, a $10 saving. $10 savings? No, a $20 savings.
Yeah, that sounds about right. So they've taken the price down a little bit, but it's actually a lot more savings because you're also saving the $35 off of buying a copy of X or Y.
Well, the 2DS is $129.
Is it? I thought it was like $170.
No, they're $129, and then the game is $40. A lot of people were like, why didn't they release this before Black Friday? But I did a little research and read a couple articles that actually Black Friday isn't the busiest shopping day. It is the Saturday before Christmas. That is the busiest shopping day of the year.
I would believe that.
So
And also, there is no Thanksgiving in Japan.
that is true.
So Black Friday means nothing to them. Zero.
That is very true.
I would be really cheesed off if I bought a red 2DS and it had Pokemon X on it, because that's obviously the lesser of the two games. And I don't want a blue 2DS for my Eveltal to live on. Yeah, ugh,
You don't want
whatever.
a Swirlix?
I got a Swirlix from Travis.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I'm gonna say this right now. If they ever came out with a Pokemon Edition 2DS, I would buy that in a heartbeat.
A full-on Pokemon edition with engravings or whatever.
Yeah, anything really. I would need I couldn't justify buying another Pokemon 3DS XL because I already have the Pikachu one. But I could justify buying a Pokemon 2DS, especially since the price is so much cheap. Not so much cheaper, but definitely cheaper. And then I could trade with myself. Obviously.
I'm impressed with myself that I have kept my X and Y 3DS in pretty much mint condition, as opposed to my Animal Crossing one, which was dyed from my jeans and nicked and scratched. But my X and Y one, there's nothing on it. It's
Do you
beautiful.
still have? Well, you sold your Pikachu one. Is that correct?
No, I never had the Pikachu one. I sold my
okay.
Animal Crossing
Oh,
one.
yeah. That's the one you dropped.
Yeah.
Speaking of dropping, there are not new Pokemon movies, but two Pokemon movies are dropping on December 14th on Cartoon Network. You can watch Pokemon Lucario and the Mystery of Mew, and you'll be able to watch Pokemon The Rise of Darkrai.
Which, if I get to watch that movie, I'll finally understand what you mean by that.
Yes, you'll hear a lot of Darkrai. And that's going to be starting at 11 a.m. on Cartoon Network, but Pokemon.com doesn't tell me what time zone that is. So, yeah.
The only one that matters, Eastern.
I would just get up early and not miss it if you have Cartoon Network and you haven't seen these two movies. Now, Will, have you seen the Lucario movie?
I haven't seen that one either, so I've got lots to look forward to.
Okay, you'll have to let me know how that is. I have seen the Darkrai movie. I saw it with Travis and Carly and a bunch of friends, and I wouldn't say it was good. It wasn't bad, but I probably wouldn't watch it by myself. I would recommend watching it with a group of people because you would probably have more fun than just watching it by yourself. And
yeah, somehow I could see Carly being really into that Darkrai movie.
Darkrai. Yeah, we laughed a lot. It was there are a couple funny parts. So if you're just looking for something to have in the background while you're playing Pokemon, I would recommend having Cartoon Network on Saturday. And if Cartoon Network wants to sponsor us for this, that would be more than welcoming.
More than welcome.
We
could do a live commentary because obviously since I've not seen either of the movies, all of my reactions would be fresh.
That's right. Yeah. We should do another movie thing. I did that movie thing. We did the
Rayquaza?
Yes, with Vinny. We did a Blog Talk Radio and went over all the reactions from that movie, and we had like 100 and some people listening with us and watching it with us. That was really cool. We should do something like that again.
I got no plans for the holiday.
There we go. That could be like a Christmas thing. That could be a Christmas thing.
I'm just not watching Jirachi again. Never again.
But it's Jirachi. I like Jirachi. Before we move into Pokemon Origins, I just want to give another birthday shout out. It was K Superfan, it's super effective Superfan. K Street's birthday over the weekend, and he came from Michigan and hung out with myself, and we played a lot of board games and stuff over the weekend. So I just wanted to give him a happy birthday, as well as the happy birthday to Travis. And I feel like it was also
Adrienne.
Yeah, it was also her birthday too. So happy birthday to her if she still listens. I'm pretty sure she does. But so many birthdays the first week of December.
Things that make you say,
And with that being said, we will take a quick break, play a little music from the Fire Red and Leaf Green album, and hopefully not get sued for copyright things. And we'll be right back after that. And we are back from our break to talk about some Pokemon organ machines. Now, Will, you just finished the series. You power watched it today,
mere minutes ago.
Strangely
enough, as it's not available any longer.
yes. Let's talk about that first. The first episode debuted in English on November 15th, so less than a month ago. And we got the second episode November 18th, the third episode November 20th, and then finally the fourth episode on November 22nd. And then I don't know if this was verbally communicated well, but I didn't know that they all got pulled on December 2nd. And I went to look for them on December 3rd, and they were not on Pokemon.com and not in the Pokemon TV app that you can get on iOS or Android. And, for little to no reason.
Yeah, and it upset me because I've been also power watching a lot of Doctor Who because they had, like, a huge thing on BBC America last week. And I just, like, it was, when I get through that, I'll watch Pokemon Origins, and then I didn't get to watch Pokemon Origins. Well, no. Except I did.
Yes.
Except I cheated.
I don't. I'm not sure where that understanding was coming from on the Pokemon Company's behalf of taking down these episodes that weren't even up for an entire month. But now, like Will and I, and even other people who haven't seen them, they'll have to resort to YouTube or other weird non-legal, well, YouTube's legal, but there are non-legal places to get said episodes. But like, why would you not just keep them on Pokemon.com and archive them? That's only getting you like views and hits, and instead we're going to Joe Schmo's bad quality YouTube channel to watch what you've probably put a lot of time into, because the episodes were really well made. Yeah,
the YouTube quality was terrible.
Yes.
Absolutely terrible.
It's not like when you watch these episodes, you think like, oh, they did that overnight. The animation is good. The voice acting is good. Like I'm not going to say they're the best things on TV or the best things I've ever watched. They're probably some of the best Pokemon anime I've watched.
I can agree with you there. I can agree with that.
And I would argue that it was, close to movie quality, which I mean, those movies don't take, a weekend to make, so why keep them up for just a weekend, it felt like.
Well, and what also, is annoying is I went into Pokemon TV today, and what do they have up as the special? It's like Pikachu and Axew go to Sylveon's house to help him celebrate his birthday, and it's the EV specials, and they have all the EV. Who cares about EV? That freaking Pokemon is tired.
Yeah. The only speculation I can give is because of the partnership that Pokemon Company has formed with iTunes recently with the soundtracks and planning on releasing the rest of the soundtracks. Is I would only imagine that these episodes, I would only hope as well that these episodes will appear in iTunes as like a series that one could purchase.
Yeah, I guess you could buy HD versions. Sure.
Yeah.
That's understandable. Are the Pokemon movies available through iTunes?
I don't.
Not yet.
Think so. I know one or two of them were available on on Netflix for the Celebi one was on the Netflix for a couple months, and then they pulled it. But that was a little bit ago.
Mm.
What else do we have? Well, let's see what we have in iTunes here. I just pulled this up. So we have the Pokemon TV app. That's official. We have the 2 new albums that came out that are from Game Freak directly. We have Pokemon To Be a Master. I think everyone remembers that. Pokemon X, which is a 10-year anniversary album. Totally Pokemon, which was from the second Pokemon movie. The first Pokemon movie soundtrack. The third Pokemon movie soundtrack. So those are all there.
There's just no video.
No video. There's the PokéDex, complete PokéDex app, which hasn't been updated for Gen 6, and fingers crossed that that's going to happen. But yes, no video at all. Not even the TV shows. It'd be pretty cool if just the regular anime got added to iTunes.
As bundles, yeah.
Right.
I mean, they are leaving money on the table. Classic. That's exactly what they're doing. Would you not spend $2 for like the first year's? You know what? I would spend, listen up, Pokemon Company International and Apple. I would spend $10 just for the Pokemon episode where Pikachu has the bottle of ketchup, because that is the greatest thing ever. And for any person who's ever sad or depressed, you watch that episode, you see Pikachu eating the ketchup and serving the ketchup to people, and it's like happiness just fills your body. It's the greatest thing ever.
That's the episode right before or after Koga's Gym where there's like the Scythers versus the Electabuzzes.
Yes, I believe it's called Showdown at Dark City.
Yes. That episode is really good. There could be some copyright things with the first season, because weren't they with 4 kids?
I don't care.
But even
buy back that copyright, international company.
It's true. Even they could even do at least start with the X and Y anime and let us get like a season pass. Let me pay $20 and wait every week to get the new episode. I mean, I do that with Simpsons every Sunday at like midnight. I get the episode in HD and I watch it on Monday. And I do that with My Little Pony. It comes out on Saturday. I don't get it till Sunday night, which is fine. But it's like I don't have cable. I don't have the hub. I don't have Cartoon Network. Like, let me pay for TV shows weekly. This is a whole topic we can go down, but I'm just saying, I'm going on the record that I bet these episodes will appear in iTunes, just based off their recent history with iTunes. And that would be the only good reason why they would pull them early.
Yeah, and it's a place. It's a place to put them. It's a place to start for them. Is to put these 4 episodes up.
Or they're gonna slap them on a low quality DVD for $10 at Toys R Us.
$2 at the gas station. Last place I bought Pokemon movies. Gas station in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina.
Oh God. Let's dive into some organs. I didn't know these episodes were actually named, but the first episode of Pokemon Origins is actually titled Red. So right away we see the game screen from the original Game Boy game, and then I believe it goes to New Game, and then we have Professor Oak explaining the world of Pokemon just like he did in the video game.
Yeah.
I originally watched the Japanese version with the English subtitles below. When they first debuted in Japan back on October 2nd. So I got the Japanese Oak. I rewatched, of course, all the episodes in English. I'm going to go right away being negative. I did not like the English Professor Oak's voice.
I could not say that it was remarkable one way or the other.
I guess when I think of Oak, I think of Pokemon Snap, where he's like, wonderful. When you take a picture. I also think of just the Pokemon anime. I think of that Professor Oak because I feel like that Oak, just watching Pokemon for over a decade, that voice is put into your head. But it's
very iconic. Yes.
Yes, but that's not that he is the only voice I actually don't like. and I'll get to the voice I really, really like in a second. But we, if I'm not mistaken, we see the Gengar and the Nidorino fight as well.
Yeah, it's being broadcast on television.
Yep.
So yeah, I do like the mechanic where they kind of wrap the episodes up in the game screens. You know, that each episode ends with going to saving it, and you actually see the amount of time played increments. So the total time played was like 35 hours or something.
Yeah.
But I actually paid
Powerhouse through
attention
it.
to that. But yeah,
Fastest Pokédex completion.
it starts with Gengar versus Nidoran, Nidoking.
No, not Nidoking, the one right below Nidorino, if that's what we call it. If that's its name.
Yeah.
So I I mean, all of us. Like I'm 25. Will is a bit older, but we've all had friends that have played the original Red and Blue. I can't think of anyone I know personally that hasn't at least heard of Pokemon Red and Blue. If they've played it or if they've at least experienced it, episode 1 kind of sums up all those feelings right in that episode and kind of hits all the right spots. You get your choice right away between Charmander, Squirtle, and Bulbasaur, and you get your rival. They determine that rivalship within the first like 30 seconds.
Oh, absolutely. They make it very clear.
Red, of course, picks Charmander. We all know that Charizard is on a different tier than Venusaur and Blastoise. On whether people like that or not, that's really what it comes down to. Charizard has always been one step above those two. So Red picks Charizard. Now, in Japan, they didn't get Red and Blue. They got Red and Green. They had Venusaur on the cover. Later, they did get Blue. America, of course, got Red and Blue. Your rival, Blue, in the English series, he goes ahead and picks Squirtle purely because water is better than fire, which is quite funny.
Yeah, I mean, he was because for one thing, he wears green. Okay, that's just tripping me up right now.
Yes,
he's wearing green clothes, so in Japanese he was called Green. And that whole speech that he makes to Professor Oak, where Professor Oak is like, "So, are you going to choose Squirtle because his blue skin matches your name?" And he's like, "No, I'm not going to let that stupid reason be the choice. I'm going to choose Squirtle because he's water."
Yeah.
Dude, that whole speech in Japanese was like, "Are you going to choose Bulbasaur because your name is Green?" And he's going to be like,
right, exactly.
"Pardon you, grandfather, but I'm going to choose Squirtle just because you said that."
After they get said Pokemon, we see that Red goes on a catching spree and catches exactly what we would have caught in the game itself. We see Rattata right away. We see Pidgey. We see Spearow, Caterpie. These are the first Pokemon that a player would encounter in Red and Blue. It also shows that Red has caught more Pokemon in 2 minutes than Ash does in about 2 months, which is quite funny. Then we see Red try to steal another player's Pokemon right away, which in the only reason that happens is because we've all done it in Red and Blue. We all tried it. And
guess what? I've done it in X and Y. I start falling asleep and I'm in a trainer battle, and I'm like, "Oh wait, I don't have this Pokemon," and I forget that I was in a trainer battle, and I try to get the Pokemon. That happens all the time.
Yeah, it does. Now the Pokemon he's trying to catch is the Pokemon he's trying to steal. Sorry, is a Nidoran, which we know from the game is found on Victory Road, right off of Viridian City. So that is in sync with the game, which is really cool. Red does end up catching that as well. Doesn't see that in the game. if you were to venture off to Victory Road into that area, you would end up battling your rival. When I was originally playing the game as a 10-year-old SBJ, I didn't even walk over there. I just walked north into the Viridian Forest. So I missed that whole rival battle the very, very first time I played Red and Blue. But in the anime, he does battle Blue. And do you want to go ahead and explain that battle?
Well, it's very violent, but Red is like it's kind of funny too because he's like, "Why are you moving so slowly? This is the Pokemon you've been using to catch all these other Pokemon." He's like, all of a sudden, "Why are you moving so slowly? And just use Ember on a Squirtle." And Blue is like, doesn't even have to tell his Squirtle to dodge. He's just like, "Whatever, smack that dude down." But yeah, it gets gross at the end when Squirtle starts uses Bite, and which is a Dark type move. Did it get moved to a Dark type move in a later generation? But either way, he bites real hard, and he's like thrashing around with that little Charmander, gonna snap his neck, cause some real damage until Red pulls back the little Charmander. So
Yeah,
definitely more violent than your standard Pokemon anime.
yeah, and I think this goes back to the game where you're new to it, you don't understand types and weaknesses, you don't understand what Growl or Tail Whip is actually doing right away, and you see Red make all those mistakes. Unfortunately, in the Japanese version, they show Squirtle biting down pretty hard on Charmander, and Charmander lets out this very long scream. And in the English version, they cut that scream dramatically. In the Japanese, it's probably 4 to 5 seconds. In the English version, it's probably just a second or two. So that was a bit disappointing because that scream was hilarious. And if you haven't seen it, you should just type in on YouTube probably like Squirtle biting Charmander Japanese, and you'll be able to see it. It's pretty sweet. So after Red loses to Blue, Red doesn't really understand why he lost, and then he meets Brock, who he doesn't know is Brock.
Brock was hiding in the forest, peeping at little boys having their Pokemon battles.
Right. Brock now, so this is where the part I was going to get to. Brock is my favorite voice actor in this series. I think his voice acting is awesome and spot on.
I think it was pretty well done. Yeah.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. We follow Red then to Pewart City after Brock kind of tries to explain to Red what happened, and Red doesn't really get it. Red decides that he not only wants to complete his Pokédex, but he wants to get all 8 badges, which technically in the game, they don't tell you to get your badges. They tell you to complete your Pokédex, so that's pretty accurate.
Mm-hmm.
Red goes to enter the gym, and the 2 people that are there, I forget what they say exactly, but they say exactly what the 2 people in Brock's gym say in the game, which is pretty cool.
They say you're light years away from being ready to
Yes.
to battle a gym leader like Brock, and he just defeated somebody else.
Yes. Brock, though, of course, accepts the battle, and we see Brock we see 6 Pokemon come out, and Brock Brock says that this is the first gym battle, so he picks these 2 specifically, which answers a lot of questions in the Pokemon world of how do gym leaders know which Pokemon to pick based off your experience level.
Yeah, because you can do the gyms in any order, technically.
Correct.
Right?
Yes. So even if you hated the anime completely, even if you hate Pokemon Origins, that alone was well worth knowing that they can use other Pokemon. So Brock sends out his Geodude. Spoiler alert, he uses a Geodude and an Onix. Red learns that Fire type doesn't do anything except against Geodude, so he withdraws his Charmander. This battle really explains weakness and resistance to Red and to the viewer, aka when you were playing it as a kid. So then we see the Geodude does get taken down by Red's Nidoran, which knows Double Kick, which is a fighting type move. Fighting is strong against Rock.
Uh-huh.
Ta-da. Brock sends out his Onix and starts using Bide, exactly like the game. This is where Red sends out Pidgey and Caterpie. No, Pidgey, Metapod. He sends out pretty much all his Pokemon, and they all
Everything
get one
is
shot.
shot. Yeah.
They all get one-shotted by Onix, exactly what happens to you in the video game. He does, however, use String Shot on his Metapod, which I know personally I did that as an inspiring trainer when I was young, which slows down the Onix, which then, when Charmander goes back out, Charmander has a little bit more speed than Onix and defeats Onix and Brock, and Red earns his Boulder Badge and also gets a floppy disk for the TM Bide.
That wasn't even a floppy disk. That was some sort of weird magnetic media cartridge is what that was.
Yeah,
Dang.
it was pretty funny. It was like, where do you stick this in the Pokemon's mouth? How does he learn Bide after? The whole battle, though, was extremely well animated, and I liked how the HP was in the background. I don't know what your thoughts on that were.
Yeah. Well, it made it tied it into the game again, so that you had a visual of the HP going down as the battle went on. Which gladly they didn't carry over into the non-gym battles, but to have that for the gym battles was worthwhile.
Yeah, it was very cool, very exciting. That pretty much sums up the first episode. So Red gets his Charmander, catches a bunch of Pokemon, loses to Blue, and gets his first badge. So now we're all psyched for episode 2. He's going to verse Misty, and it's going to be great. He's going to go through Mount Moon, and that doesn't happen.
No, and I was actually fine with that. I know I've heard complaints from other people. They're like, "Oh, it jumps months into the future," but it's a vignette series, and they picked out the most important events in Red's career, and Misty battle was not as important.
Yeah, they do sum it up pretty well. We do see the new animated Misty and Lieutenant Surge, and I believe those are the two they skip after the first episode.
Well, they skip some other stuff too, because they skip the SSN, right?
Oh yes. They do skip the SSN.
You don't get to see Blue's Eradicate or whatever get killed or whatever that fable is.
Yes. So the second episode is titled Cubone. So at this point, Red has 3 gym badges. He ends up in Lavender Town. This is where we learn about the Pokemon Tower, and we learn about the Pokemon Cemetery, and that we hear the creepy Lavender Town music that is pretty iconic from the Kanto region.
Yeah.
We also get an explanation of ghost Pokemon, or I should not ghost type Pokemon, but ghost Pokemon, and the girl who explains it again cites exactly what she did in the game, which is very cool.
So can I just pause for a moment to say, early in this episode, we come across 2 things where if I was ever teaching a Japanese to English translation or interpretation class, 2 things that Japanese people obviously think that people in English say quite a bit that people in English never ever say are, as a matter of fact, and knock it off. I want those phrases eradicated from every Japanese dictionary. I'm tired of watching anime where people are like, and this is the place where we do this kind of thing, and blah, blah, blah. And as a matter of fact, I'm the lady in charge. No, people don't say that. Stop it.
All right, fair enough. Take notes of that, people listening.
Yes, everyone in Japan.
We learn about Cubone becoming. This is the first time we learn about Team Rocket. It was explained to Red that Team Rocket is this organization that captures Pokemon, and this is based off a Cubone who is not happy like the other Pokemon in the orphanage. And they explain that this Cubone was an orphan after the Marowak was killed by Team Rocket. pretty graphic for a what would be considered a children's show.
Yeah.
Not saying that this was targeted towards children, but I'm sure kids are going to watch it. So this is the first time ever they mention a Pokemon actually dying, if I'm not mistaken. I don't believe they ever do it in the Ashes anime.
No, and they also have the Team Rocket member takes out his like riot stick and he's like, "Oh, we're gonna fix you," and then all of a sudden it's like
Yes,
crying
yeah,
Cubone. It's like they beat that thing to death, man.
yeah. Yeah, it kind of tugged on my heartstrings a little bit. I don't know if it did it for you, but it
I have
was.
no heart.
We learn about Mr. Fuji, who has gotten himself captured in the Pokemon Tower that's overrun by Team Rocket. Red decides to go into the tower to be a hero because he loves Pokemon, and Blue only wants to go there to compete with Red as the arrogant rival he is.
Yeah, he wants to go and defeat Team Rocket so he can be the hero versus wanting to actually, free the Pokemon and be good for the Pokemon.
Right. So we get inside the tower. Blue happens. We see a ghost scare everyone away. Blue happens to steal the Sith scope.
Sylph Scope.
Yep.
Yeah.
And after being scared, he pretty much gives this to Red. Red discovers that this ghost is actually Cubone's mother, which we do learn in the game, exactly like the game plays out. And the only really significant thing we see on Red's team, besides him having a Charmeleon, is he has a Jolteon at this point. And he uses the Jolteon to defeat Team Rocket and save Mr. Fuji. Not a lot of things happen in this episode. There's a lot to take in, but not a lot happens story-wise. But at the end of the episode, Mr. Fuji gives Red not only the Poke Flute, but gives him two mysterious stones, which is the first thing that doesn't actually happen in the game that we've seen.
Yeah.
And that sums up episode 2. Probably my least favorite episode out of the 4, but it's not skippable.
I would agree. I think it was the weak point of the
But
episodes. They could have actually focused on a different segment, but that's what they picked. So
yeah, obviously meant something to Game Freak to include that, or Pokemon Company, however they work that out. Moving on to the third episode, which is titled Giovanni. We know that at this point Ash has 5 badges total. His Charmeleon is now a Charizard, and we see that he has awakened the Snorlax with the Poke Flute, and we later learn that he catches the Snorlax. I can't remember what else happens in that transition period.
there were a few more gym leaders that he beat, and I also think that's when he went to Cinnabar Island to the Pokemon Mansion and found the book where they went to the jungle and found some super powerful Pokemon reference.
Oh, yes. Oh, maybe he did that before the 4th one, though.
I don't think so.
Okay. I can't remember. But let's focus on the third episode real quick here. We see that there is some things going on with the actual Sylph company, and we know that it's taken over by Team Rocket. We then learn about the Master Ball for the first time, which is a Pokeball capable of catching any Pokemon. Red, of course, wants to be the hero, and we see Red yell at Blue that Blue needs to help, and Blue does his part of, I believe, just calling the police. I think that was his assignment given by Red.
Yeah, he agreed to go to Celadon, and was it Celadon City?
Yeah,
And get the police, and like that was all he was going to do, and then he would continue his own journey because it was more important for him to become a Pokemon master.
correct.
Jerk.
To be a master.
Yeah.
So right away we see Red freeing a bunch of scientists. One of the scientists gives Red a Lapras. That happens in the game. It also happens in Pokemon X and Y. Spoiler alert. Then Red makes it all the way to the top, so we meet Giovanni, which explains that Red is annoying and in his way and doesn't understand anything. Red then challenges him to a battle in which Giovanni sends out a Nidoqueen and pretty much one-hit KOs Red's Charizard.
Thrashes Charizard pretty bad. What is that comment that Giovanni makes? He's like, "There's not much heat coming from that flamethrower."
What was your opinion of this Giovanni? How what would you?
I like him. He's very calm and suave and collected, and you just it's kind of like what you would expect. He doesn't let things, even if he is having a reaction for, yeah, as he talked about later, he doesn't expose it. You don't see it. It doesn't come
Yes.
across like, oh, I'm so mad because this punk kid is challenging me. No, he's just very cool and collected about it, as I would expect from someone of his power level and character.
Yeah. I and still to this day, I think Giovanni is one of the most memorable gym leaders ever in all six games, and I wish there was another eighth gym leader that could stand up to Giovanni's presence, not only in the game but throughout all these years. I
Yeah,
would
I would
say
agree,
that.
just because of his role in the game, and then as the gym leader, that it's really like a revelation.
Right, yeah. I mean, I guess like Iris has a little bit of that in
Meh.
black and white. But it's hard to say. Like I guess I was more excited that Iris was in the anime, more so being the eighth gym leader in the game. But then they had that, I can't even remember that other eighth gym leader in black and white, the guy with the mask.
Drayden, he's not wearing
Yeah.
a mask.
He's so unforgettable. At least
Or
I
wait, are you
think so.
thinking of the ice? Because the ice gym leader is the one who's got some like mask on his face or something.
Well, isn't it
But
in like,
Drayden has like the weird mustache beard combo.
oh yeah. I'm just thinking like it isn't an X, or not an X, in black you verse Iris, but in white you verse that other guy, Drayden.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't like that. Wasn't a fan.
Well, you're wrong, so that's okay.
Well, you were right on the traveling to Cinnabar Island and reading the diary, because also in the Giovanni episode, Red does arrive in Viridian City, discovers that the gym is now open, and the gym leader is Giovanni. Red doesn't want to fight Giovanni as a gym leader because he doesn't believe in Giovanni and he hates Team Rocket, blah blah blah. So he
Well, it
challenges.
goes back to what Brock originally told him. You battle gyms and gym leaders to learn about how to train and battle with Pokemon. And he's like, well, Giovanni, you're not about actually learning to live and treat your Pokemon as partners. You're only about treating Pokemon as a business. So you don't deserve to be a gym leader. That was his
Correct.
rationale.
Yes. Giovanni then, two like Ultra Balls appear, and Giovanni, who is a ground type gym leader, for those of you that don't know or uh, couldn't remember, Giovanni sends out his Rhyhorn, and also sends out a Rhydon afterwards.
Yeah.
And this is probably one of the longest battles in the game, or in the show, and I think it's one of the best battles, because we see a lot of back and forth. We have the HP in the background, like we did in Brock's gym. We have the Pokemon count. And more importantly, out of all that, we have both internal thoughts from Giovanni and internal thoughts from Red during the battle.
Yeah, and I think they were also somewhat, once again, implying that Red could potentially be Giovanni's son.
Yes, because Giovanni quite more than once references, I don't know why this kid makes me upset. There's something I see in him.
Yeah, and then he was like, He throws the Pokeball at the heat of the battle exactly the way that I used to, which is also, when he was a kid, but could also imply that there is a genetic transference for the method of throwing the Pokeball. Only 23andMe could tell us for sure.
Obviously. Um, Red does win with his Charizard. I believe he seismic tosses the Rhydon to death. And Giovanni disbands Team Rocket, quits Team Rocket altogether, and gives Red the last gym badge. Now, this is the appropriate Giovanni that matches up with the game and the rest of the game's history. The Giovanni and the Jesse and James from Team Rocket in the other anime doesn't really represent Team Rocket as a whole.
No. Well, no.
No, because Giovanni's running a business and a successful business, and he's respected as both a businessman and a gym leader. In the Ash's anime, it's more perceived that they're trying to take over the world and sabotage people's plans and all this stuff. But that's not really the case in the game.
And I haven't watched like the Kanto series in such a long time. Is Giovanni actually the 8th gym leader in Kanto when Ash is battling and getting all his badges?
I can't remember.
For some reason, I don't think he is, or they don't show it if he is.
Yeah, it'd be good to look into. Or one of our listeners will correct us.
Yeah, let's get the Pokemon Podcast Super Effective Research Department on that, please.
But that pretty much ends the 3rd episode. We then move into the 4th episode, which is titled Charizard. This is when Red finally arrives at the Pokemon League. And disappointingly, they move through the Elite Four. They don't see any of those battles. But we do see all 4 Elite Four members, which is at least cool.
Yeah.
And then we get right to Blue, who is, of course, the Pokemon League champion. And we then get the Red challenges Blue battle with, again, the Giovanni / Brock-like animations. This is where we see Red's whole team, which at one point he has a Persian on his team.
Yeah, which I'm like, what?
I didn't think
Seriously?
that was the only one that threw me off. But he also had a Snorlax, which is 2 normal type Pokemon. Red, come on, get it together.
Did he have a Snorlax?
I thought so.
I know that one of the other people in the what comes after had a Snorlax on the team, but I thought it was Persian, Jolteon's still there.
Yeah,
Charizard is still there.
Yeah.
What is it?
Lapras. Because he uses the Ice Beam to defeat Lance.
And Dodrio.
Yeah, he has Dodrio, which I thought was also a bit weird. What was the last one?
What was
it was Victory Bell.
Yep.
Which was a little weird, I guess.
Wait, did he have Victory Bell? Or did he used Victory Bell against Giovanni?
He did use he did use Victory Bell against Giovanni. It doesn't say in the Wikipedia here. That's okay. I guess none of that really matters. I mean, Blue he has a Pidgeot at one point. I want to say he had like a Flareon too. I could be wrong. Anyways,
I wasn't paying attention to his.
it really comes down to Blastoise and Charizard. Red obviously Blue thinks it's an instant win when it comes down to both Blastoise and Charizard because obviously water is better than fire. We see Charizard Mega Punch Blastoise in the face, and Blastoise was like, "Oh, that's no big deal. Doesn't bother me." But Charizard does manage to win. I think he ends up. I know Blastoise gets a Hydro Pump on Charizard, and Charizard gets a Fire Blast on Blastoise, and I think one hit KOs it.
Yeah, I think what got him was he did the Fire Spin, which traps Blastoise, then he does the other attack.
You are spot on there.
Blue is like, wait, he's sapping his energy. What? And then he's like, boom. Done.
Um, and then of course Professor Oak arrives and quotes quite a bit of things directly from the game, of course.
So
Then
mean. It's
he
like,
is
geez, grandson, I heard you had become the champion, so I made my way over here. But then I just found out that you're not the champion anymore. So later.
so you suck. Red then gets into the Pokemon Hall of Fame, League Championship Hall of Fame, and we actually, I actually thought the series was going to end right there. I was actually like, wow, they're doing the Red and Blue champion battle right in the beginning of the series, because afterwards they show that Red is on his journey to catch all 149 known Pokemon.
Well, that's typically where you turn off the games, isn't it?
Right, right. You beat
Defeat the champion, stop playing.
exactly. It's what I did with X and Y. Um, so he ends up catching all 149 Pokemon, returns home to show Professor Oak that he did that. He then learns that Blue was in an encounter with a Pokemon, a psychic Pokemon that he's never seen before, and Blue was badly hurt from this mysterious Pokemon. Red has some Inception flashback over to finding out that this Pokemon must be Mewtwo. And then somehow Mr. Fuji's name gets brought up by Professor Oak. And then when we learn that these stones that Professor Fuji has given him would make Red a better Pokemon trainer in some aspect or another. This then leads to Red taking his Lapras out to find this mysterious Pokemon, which is in fact Mewtwo. And
yeah, what was the name of the, was it Celadon Cave is what they called it?
Yeah, the Celadon Cave.
Okay.
Which was kind of cool because they had the little guy standing in front of the cave just like he does in the game. Right away, Red sends out a Gengar, which I think is pretty cool.
Should be.
Gengar gets owned by a Mewtwo Swift. Or no, I think he uses Psychic, but at some point Mewtwo uses Swift, which is pretty funny. Red also sends out an Articuno and explains that not even these legendary birds that he captured can defeat Mewtwo.
Articuno using Blizzard couldn't defeat Mewtwo.
That's right, because Mewtwo was using Recover, which is really cool because I'm pretty sure in the game he knew Swift, he knew Psychic, he knew Recover, and I think the last one was Barrier, because we do see Mewtwo use Barrier against Charizard.
Yeah, so Blue said that he used Confusion and Barrier because I think it was Charizard who used Swift. I don't think Mewtwo used Swift.
No, I thought Mewtwo used Swift.
Maybe I wasn't paying that much attention.
I thought he used it to defeat Articuno.
Maybe, yeah.
There was at least 2 Swifts thrown, if I recall correctly. Anyways, Red of course ends up having one Pokemon left, which is Charizard. Charizard then gets thrown into the water with Red because Red attempts to, catch him or gets in the way. We then learn that that Charizard's flame does work underwater as they sink to the bottom.
I know. If you noticed. There was no concern over, is Charizard going to get wet and die?
Right.
It was all about, I can see Charizard. He's still determined. I should be too.
Yeah, that was a little weird. The Mega Stones then activate without the Power Ranger wristband. I don't know how that worked, but Red's pocket lit up. At least we think his pocket lit up.
Not even the wristband. Charizard was not holding anything. There was no Mega Stone on him anywhere unless he ate it.
Well, Professor Oak does tell Red to make Charizard hold this stone during battle, which wouldn't, in a realistic Pokemon world, I don't think a Pokemon could battle with something in its hand accurately. It's a little off.
Maybe you don't know.
That's right. Maybe it's not asymmetric. Could you run down the street holding a water bottle? I guess, but your arm would get tired.
Do that all the time. What are you talking about?
All right, bad analogy. It
has a little strap on it, so it attaches to my hand.
Charizard Mega evolves into Mega Charizard X, which I don't think they ever say. I don't think they say this is Mega Charizard X.
No.
I think Red just says, "Oh, Charizard evolves again." Um,
And then the
which
Charizard nods.
yes, which lets Red catch Mewtwo. I believe he catches him in an Ultra Ball, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep, because the Master Ball was never resolved.
That's right. Not accurate to the game, Game Freak. He then brings it back to Oak. Blue is all upset that he doesn't have Mewtwo. And then as everything is resolved, as in Red catching all 150 Pokemon, we see Mew in the window behind them, unaware that Mew still exists.
Well, because they have this great realization as they're like all eating breakfast. They're like, oh, if Mr. Fuji made Mewtwo out of something else, there must be one more. And like, dude, you didn't realize that right when you first heard about Mewtwo? Come on. Anyways, yeah.
Yeah, that was actually a good ending though. I thought it was I liked how it started with the epic Red and Blue battle, moved on to the even more epic Mewtwo battle, and then kind of resolved on the fact that Mew is still out there. I thought that was a very good ending.
It meant that Red was going to go on the hunt for somebody to trade him a Mew.
So yeah, I enjoyed the series. I would watch it again and again. It would be probably something I would show people who were into Pokemon or who are into X and Y. I wouldn't be embarrassed to show this, unlike showing them one of the bad movies or the Ash anime.
Yeah.
It would be absolutely something I would put on again. I enjoyed the series. I wish there was 1 or 2 more episodes. I think that would have been a really full 5 to 6 part series. I felt like they could have included a couple more things.
Yeah, I would like to, actually see this as maybe a starting point for them to do some slightly more adult oriented anime. Where Ash can be for the kids, and then have something that's, from what I understand, the Pokemon manga is a little more violent. So have an anime that stems more from that. Show it on what is it? It's not called Adult Swim on Saturday nights anymore. What is that called? On the Cartoon Network?
Is it called like Toonami?
Toonami. I watch every single show that they put on that, even that awful IGPX, and I can't remember what it's called. But like something for that crowd, I think that would be actually a really good move.
Yeah, I would love to know the numbers of how many people watched these, or if after the first episode, if viewership went down. I did like how they didn't wait like a week or so to release them. They only took them 2 to 3 days to release each episode after each other.
Yeah, and then only a few days to take them away.
Yes. Disgusting. Good series. If you haven't seen it, I would tell you to go to Pokemon.com to watch it, but that is not the case. You will have to do a couple searches in YouTube to find them, but they are findable. I know I found Will a link that somebody put all 4 in a full YouTube video.
And actually, that one was the best quality. So if you do a search for Pokemon Origins full movie dub, the one that comes up is going to be your best. And if you insist on watching a sub, they actually also have full movie sub as an option.
Yeah. Of course, it's easier to show your non-Pokemon friends the English version because they probably don't want to read badly subbed English titles underneath.
Well, and obviously people who don't play Pokemon don't know how to read anyways, so you'd just be throwing pearls before swine.
How would they learn? But that's your Pokemon Origins talk. Pokemon Organs talk for those of you that still think that joke's funny. It is. It's hilarious.
I always think of sushi whenever you say that, but sure.
I don't know what I was gonna say. Let's close up the show. Before we do closing credits, there is only only less than a week left to vote for myself. Very selfish, I know. Milwaukee does this thing called the Milwaukee A-List. It's run by one of the news stations down here. But what it is it honors local Milwaukee residents in certain fields like best floral shop, best coffee shop, best bar, best radio station, stuff like that. One of the categories is best radio personality. And since I do a podcast, which some consider a radio show, and I've done radio-like things like blog talk radio, see what I did there? I thought that it would be appropriate after I read the rules that I would qualify for said category. So I did, and a bunch of people from work, and of course a bunch of people who listen to the show helped nominate me all the way up to third place. Now, because it's the last week, the places are hidden, so I'm not sure where I'm actually standing. I think before they hid them, I had a very good lead in third place. So I want to thank you. I want to thank everyone who did vote for me to get me there. Realistically, I don't think first place is doable unless 100 of you who haven't voted will vote in the next couple of days. But they do honor the top 5, so that's good enough for me if I can stay in the top 5. If you are curious on how to vote, you can either message me on Twitter or just go to the podcast Facebook or just look through the podcast's Twitter. Both are there. And how to vote, it's very easy. You can either vote with your Facebook, your Google account, your Twitter account. You can make an account. I think you can say, do not sign me up for the email, and then you don't get anything. It's just a simple vote. But that is the only time you'll hear me say that, so I am done rambling.
Did you give a URL?
No, because I don't know the URL. I just told them to check facebook.com/pkmncast. And while you're there, if you haven't done so, you can go to facebook.com/pkmncast to like us on said Facebook. That is a thing. That is a thing on the internet. You can like things. You can also follow the podcast on Twitter at Pokemon Podcast. We're almost up to 14,000 followers.
Wow.
That's a big number.
If each of them gave $3 to Wikipedia, I wouldn't have that stupid "please donate" floating on my screen.
That's right. If each of them gave $3 to us, we could all move into a giant recording studio and we could record the best sounding podcast in the world.
That would be so awesome. I wouldn't have to listen to your awful battery dead headphones.
Oh yeah, it's terrible here. It's a rough life we live in. Oh, that reminds me. Speaking of terrible podcasts, I restored 40 missing episodes from It's Super Effective back into iTunes. Episodes 39 through 70 were missing. So the amazing episode 69 is back in iTunes, back to be listened to. So you can do that. I know a lot of you were asking where those episodes went. I'm not sure where they went, but they're back. So listen to them. They hold up pretty well, actually. Actually, most episodes hold up pretty well, I think.
I think so.
I do too. But I'm pretty biased towards my show. Will, where can they find you?
Well, I was going to say I'm also up for a competition as a competition for most grinchiest, scroogiest, Christmas-hating person on the planet. And you can vote for that by just going to your job on December 25th and ignoring this bogus holiday baloney. If you would like to voice your approval and agreement with me on that, you can find me on Twitter at WashinTheSink, WashinTheSink. I have instituted a great new tool that automatically erases any of my tweets after 7 days. So you got to read them while they're hot because they will get taken away from you.
Your history is just deleting behind you, Will.
What's amazing is Twitter still says that I have like 18,000 tweets, but it only shows 2 because all the rest of them have been deleted.
That is quite odd. While you were hating on Christmas, burning bridges, I did remember one other thing I forgot. Last Wednesday, which was like December 4th or something, Kenny and I, we gave away gold ducks in Premier Balls. Perfect IV gold ducks. 5 perfect IVs, 1 not so perfect IV. But they were bred gold ducks with the ability Cloud 9, and the nature, I believe, was Calm. We gave 25 of those away on Wednesday night, and it was a huge success. It did take a while. It took like 2 hours to get through 25 people. What I did is I sent Kenny a version of X with the character name Pokemon Podcast, or pkmncast.com, I should say. And with some help from my Australian friend Mason. Thank you, Mason. This is your thank you on the show. Mason helped get the parents ready, and then him and Kenny worked together to breed some perfect gold ducks for you guys. And we had a pretty active forum, and people exchanging friend codes and waiting for their ducks and tweeting about their ducks and tweeting pictures of their ducks, and it was really, really cool. And it was a lot of work, but it was well worth it because you guys made it such an event. And we plan on doing that again next week Wednesday. We plan on giving out Vanillites, perfect IV Vanillites, for you guys. That we're still in the process of breeding them and getting them ready. I think the parents are just finishing up. So if this keeps up, if we can get them out to you guys fast enough, and we plan on doing this every Wednesday, every other week, around 6:30 Central Time for you guys. So if you were one of the lucky 25 people that got a duck, congratulations. But really, thank you for making it's such a cool event for us to do for you guys. I think I said that pretty well, I guess.
Yeah.
It was cool. Ducks. We ducked everyone. With that being said, if you want to follow me on Twitter, you can do so. It's at Dragging a Lake. Like I said, one week left for the Milwaukee A-List. Like us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter. Review us in iTunes if you haven't done so. Even if you don't use iTunes, please do. But otherwise, this has been another episode of the Pokemon Podcast. And we are,
as a matter of fact, super effective.
Dun dun dun. Good night, everyone.